A federal judge just blocked a government system that was secretly scanning naturalized Americans. And if you or someone you love has become a U.S. citizen, this ruling directly affects your life. Because this database had the power to label you as a non-citizen without any crime, cancel your vote, and force you to prove your own citizenship all over again. So watch this video till the end, because today we are going to tell you everything you need to know. Hello and welcome to U.S. Immigration News. A significant federal court decision is drawing nationwide attention, and it directly relates to one of the biggest concerns many immigrants and naturalized Americans have in 2026. What happens when the government begins using immigration and citizenship databases in a much wider way? What happens if those systems contain errors? And what happens when eligible U.S. citizens, including naturalized citizens, are mistakenly flagged, questioned, or placed under scrutiny because of a database search? That is why this recent court ruling is important. In this video, we will discuss the judge's decision that blocked the Trump administration's expanded citizenship verification system, explain what the SAVE database is, outline why the court determined the government overstepped, describe how this impacts naturalized Americans, and clarify what U.S. citizens and immigrant families should know. If you find this video helpful, please press the bell icon, subscribe, and like so you can receive updates directly on your smartphone. Now, let's begin. First, it is important to understand what this case is not about. It is not about revoking citizenship. It does not state that naturalized Americans are no longer citizens. It does not claim that every naturalized individual is under investigation. This ruling focuses on how the federal government attempted to broaden the use of a Department of Homeland Security immigration verification system, known as SAVE, to review voter eligibility and citizenship status on a much larger scale. SAVE stands for Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements. It is a DHS database that has existed for many years. Traditionally, government agencies have used SAVE to confirm immigration status or citizenship information for certain public benefit programs. However, under the Trump administration's expanded approach, the system was pushed into a much larger election-related role, allowing states to use it to review voter rolls and citizenship records. That is where the dispute began. The court concluded that the administration's changes to this system raised serious privacy and voting rights concerns. According to the ruling, the expanded use involved highly sensitive personal data, including citizenship details and other identifying information. The judge stated that the government had knowingly infringed upon the privacy rights of American citizens in a manner that threatened voting rights. That wording is strong and reflects how seriously the court viewed the matter. For naturalized Americans, this decision is particularly significant because many already worry about being treated differently from those born in the United States. A naturalized citizen is a full U.S. citizen. Once naturalization is approved, that person has the same fundamental citizenship rights as any other American. They can vote. They can obtain a U.S. passport. They can sponsor family members. They can live permanently in the United States. And they cannot be treated as second-class citizens simply because they gained citizenship through naturalization. However, concerns arise from database inaccuracies. If a government system contains outdated, incomplete, or incorrect immigration information, a naturalized citizen could potentially be mistakenly identified as a non-citizen. That is the risk advocacy organizations highlighted in this case. An individual may previously have been a green card holder, visa holder, asylum applicant, or held another immigration status before becoming a citizen. If a database is not properly updated, or if records are incorrectly matched, that person could be treated as questionable, even though they are fully eligible to vote. The judge referenced concerns that eligible voters might be wrongly flagged or removed from voter rolls. That is a serious issue because voting is one of the core rights of citizenship. If a naturalized American is incorrectly labeled as a non-citizen, the impact is significant. It can cause fear, uncertainty, and even the possibility of losing voting access unless citizenship is proven again. That is why this ruling is more than a technical database matter. It addresses whether the government can use immigration-related information in a way that could endanger citizens' rights. Now, let's clarify what the judge did and did not do. The judge did not eliminate the SAVE system entirely. The system remains in place. Government agencies may continue to use it lawfully for specific verification purposes. However, the judge blocked the administration's revised and expanded use of the system for this broader citizenship review effort connected to voter eligibility. So, the ruling does not state that citizenship verification can never occur. It states that the government cannot expand and repurpose sensitive databases in a way that violates privacy protections and creates a real risk of harming eligible citizens. For naturalized Americans, the immediate takeaway is this: your citizenship has not been revoked by this system. In fact, this court decision adds protection against being wrongly caught in a broad, database-driven voter removal effort. If you are a naturalized U.S. citizen, you remain a U.S. citizen. This ruling aims to prevent the government from using an expanded or flawed system to improperly question eligible voters. Still, it is wise to remain attentive. In 2026, citizenship and immigration enforcement are once again major political topics. The Trump administration has supported multiple citizenship-related policies, including proof of citizenship voting requirements, proposals related to birthright citizenship, and increased denaturalization actions in certain cases. Courts have blocked or limited some measures, but overall, citizenship status is receiving heightened political and legal focus. That does not mean naturalized Americans should panic, but it does mean they should understand their rights and keep essential documents secure. For a naturalized citizen, key documents include the Certificate of Naturalization, U.S. passport, voter registration records, Social Security records, and any legal name change documents, if applicable. These records can be helpful if a government file contains an error or if confirmation of citizenship is ever requested. Now let's distinguish between this SAVE database case and denaturalization. They are not the same. The SAVE ruling concerns citizenship verification for voter eligibility and protecting citizens from privacy violations and wrongful voter roll issues. Denaturalization is a separate legal process in which the government seeks to revoke someone's citizenship in federal court, typically by alleging fraud or concealment during the naturalization process. Denaturalization requires a high legal standard and cannot occur simply because of a database alert. This distinction is important because many immigrants hear discussions about citizenship and immediately worry that naturalized Americans could suddenly lose their status. That is not what this ruling implies. A naturalized American does not lose citizenship because a state reviews a database. Citizenship can only be revoked through a serious legal process in which the government must prove its case. Nonetheless, the current political climate has created anxiety. The Department of Justice has announced additional denaturalization actions involving individuals accused of serious crimes or fraud related to the naturalization process. That is separate from the SAVE decision, but it contributes to broader concerns among naturalized citizens. Many people are asking whether naturalized Americans face increased scrutiny. The accurate answer is that naturalized Americans continue to have strong legal rights, although the government is placing greater attention on citizenship-related enforcement. That means individuals should not ignore official notices, should not assume mistakes will automatically be corrected, and should ensure their records are accurate. For naturalized citizens, one practical step is confirming that voter registration details match your legal name and current address. If you changed your name through marriage, divorce, or a court order, verify that all records are consistent. If you moved, update your voter registration according to state procedures. If you recently became a citizen, confirm that your registration was properly completed under your state's rules. Another practical measure is maintaining accessible proof of citizenship. A U.S. passport is often the most convenient citizenship document. The Certificate of Naturalization is also extremely important and should be stored securely. Avoid carrying the original certificate unnecessarily. Keep it protected and use copies when appropriate. For immigrants who are not yet citizens, this ruling also carries meaning because immigration data can follow an individual for many years. A green card holder today may become a naturalized citizen in the future. However, if government databases are inaccurate, outdated records could still cause complications. That is why immigrants should retain copies of approvals, notices, green cards, naturalization records, and name change documents. What does this mean for voting? If you are a U.S. citizen, including a naturalized citizen, you have the right to vote if you meet your state's eligibility requirements. This ruling blocks the expanded federal database approach that the court found unlawful, but state voter registration rules remain in effect. Some states may request certain information during registration. Some may maintain their own verification procedures. Naturalized citizens should follow state requirements carefully, while also recognizing that naturalization does not make them any less American. The concern in this case was that a broad system could mistakenly flag legitimate citizens. That is why voting rights organizations challenged the expanded use of SAVE. The court agreed that the revised system created serious issues, including privacy concerns and risks to voting rights. For individuals worried about being wrongly labeled as non-citizens, this decision represents an important limitation on government authority. What happens next? The administration may continue to defend its position or pursue alternative citizenship verification policies. Appeals are possible. Revised versions of the policy could appear. Congress may also consider legislation related to proof of citizenship voting requirements. Therefore, the issue is not completely resolved. The court ruling is a significant setback for the expanded database effort, but the broader policy debate over citizenship verification continues. Naturalized Americans should not view this as the final chapter, but rather as an important legal safeguard for now. The broader message is that citizenship is powerful, yet documentation remains important. A naturalized American is a citizen under the law. That status is secure. However, in a stricter enforcement environment, keeping documents organized and records accurate can reduce stress if a government system makes an error. For families, this ruling also carries emotional significance. Many immigrants spend years working toward citizenship. They complete background checks, they attend interviews, they take the oath, they celebrate becoming Americans. After that journey, the idea of being mistakenly questioned due to a database can feel discouraging and unsettling. The court's decision acknowledges that government systems cannot casually jeopardize citizens' privacy and voting rights. So, what should viewers remember from this update? First, the judge blocked the Trump administration's expanded citizenship verification use of the DHS SAVE system for voter roll review. Second, the ruling does not eliminate the SAVE system, but it stops the unlawful expansion that raised privacy and voting rights concerns. Third, naturalized Americans remain full U.S. citizens and should not assume their citizenship is at risk because of this decision. Fourth, individuals should safeguard citizenship documents and ensure voter registration information is accurate. Fifth, the broader debate over citizenship verification, voting regulations, and immigration data will likely continue. This is one of those updates where the headline is dramatic, but the details matter deeply. The court did not say the government can never verify citizenship. It said the government cannot use an expanded, privacy-invasive system in a way that risks harming eligible citizens. For naturalized Americans, that is meaningful. It shows that courts continue to review government actions when immigration data is used too broadly. It affirms that citizens have privacy rights. It confirms that voting rights cannot be jeopardized by unreliable systems. And it reinforces that naturalized citizen status is genuine. Their rights are genuine. They should not be treated with suspicion simply because they became Americans through immigration. The central message today is this: the expanded citizenship verification system has been blocked by a federal judge, at least for now. Naturalized Americans should stay informed, protect important documents, and confirm their records are accurate. At the same time, they should recognize that this ruling serves as a safeguard, not a penalty. It is a court stating that the government cannot infringe upon citizens' privacy and voting rights through a flawed citizenship database expansion. That concludes this bulletin. The Immigration Brief, USA, provides essential visa information and guidance for your immigration journey. It is important to understand U.S. immigration procedures, visa application requirements, processing timelines, forms, fees, and related details. We will continue sharing information about visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas, including L1A, L1B, and H1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5, and family-based immigrant visas. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the Immigration Brief USA. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.